cowardice. What could be the cause of this? To brush it off would be remiss. Everybody agrees the meaning. Hundreds of hands grab at him. Hundreds of hands drag him back down. A horde of himself attacks him. He tries to fly but can't leave the ground. Quinch receives some tough love in the wake of his nightmare. It may seem cruel, but all we do is born of how much we care. And then we get a nasty fright. He disappears into the night. Adventure continues.
The wind whistling under his wings and between his feathers always makes Vin appreciate this new form. It's not that he didn't like being a weasel, far from it, but there is just so much more freedom being able to fly than scrambling around on the ground. He can also see further and get better views of everything his master needs. Being an owl has its advantages. Right now, the master was down on the floor with his friends, although Vin still doesn't understand how they call themselves friends if they didn't come to the fire realm with the master. But Vin doesn't understand the bipeds and their relationships. Anyway, they're all going through the usual nightly routine of making sure the master and his friends are safe. Thankfully, things rarely ever happen at night. Well, except that time the master died and Vin disappeared for a short while, but he doesn't like to think about that. Other than that, though, this was just time for Vin to metaphorically and literally spread his wings for a couple of hours. Usually Vin might get to see a mouse or other rodent, but as he is just a spirit, he doesn't need to eat, so doesn't have the same cravings most owls have. He does find it entertaining to chase them, though. Maybe this will help them in the future when they encounter real owls and other predators. Vin swoops around, checking the perimeter like he normally does, when suddenly something catches his eye. Just a little glint over by the bushes. He flies towards the bush to investigate, when slowly two bipeds emerge, one of them holding something in their hands. Feeling an uncommon sense of panic, Vin turns as he needs to warn the master. Luckily, he's close by. Vin gets a few feet, but hears noise behind him. Is it words? He doesn't know. But the last thing he sees before his eyes shut and he hits the ground is the master also collapsing backwards into his bedroll. As Harshnag repeats that Quinch is missing, Dabov, you seem to recall, just before you passed out during your watch, that you got a message from Vin telling you that he had seen, because you can communicate with him telepathically, he'd somehow been able to communicate to you that he'd seen someone emerging just before he and you fell unconscious. What do the rest of you do in this scenario?
So we've all woken up.
So you've all woken up. You've discovered that Dabov, who was the last on watch, was asleep, which is one, is something that hasn't happened before. None of you have fallen asleep during your duties. And also that Quinch is gone. Quinch isn't in his bedroll.
Is Quinch's belongings there, or is it everything's gone?
Roll me an investigation.
I'm going to say that I don't notice Quinch is missing until somebody says something. So at the minute, I'm none the wiser.
All right, I'll roll investigation. That is a 22, a natural 20, Nate.
You look. So yeah, you wake up and see he's not in his bedroll, and you look and you see that his belongings are there, and obviously it's unlike any of you to go anywhere without any of your belongings, and even if it was somebody going, for a piss break or something like that, you'd expect them to take something, but you can see Hayshit, you can see his armor, you start getting a bit panicky, you go over and you have a look at what's there, you open up his bed pack, you can see that as far as you can tell.
Did you say his bed pan?
I said bed pack. I don't know what bed pack is, but there you go.
Is the bum-shaped potato still there? Because if it is, then we need to worry.
The bum-shaped potato is there. You find pretty much everything that is Quinch.
Gentlemen, I think I know what's happened here. You see, I saw him fiddling with the cube of many colours before he went to bed. And I can only assume that it's a thing of magic and that it has swallowed him into another realm. We must destroy the cube.
I'm not... Is the cube of many colours there?
The cube of many colours is there.
Oh. Is it complete?
I don't need to roll this. No, it's not complete.
Right, okay. So
Is it visibly close to being complete, or as close as we'd assume from, I guess, the feedback
I don't know
given?
I know Quinch isn't here, but MJ, when Quinch is playing around with the cube, does he sort of show it off at all? Does he tell anyone that he's getting close or anything like that?
I think it would be within his nature that he'd be somewhat proud of himself that he was getting close.
I'd rather Quinch didn't declare that he was close while we're all camping out together.
I don't know. I think I'd rather he did, because I think the silence of it would be worse.
Retreat to a safe 30-yard distance.
Sweating and fumbling through his fingers, Quinch nears climax.
With the many-coloured penis.
Twisting it with the same vigour.
So it's not complete, but even bearing in mind this is an item that probably none of you have seen before, other than obviously this one that Quinch has had. From a pattern point of view, you can see that there are large chunks of this that are matching, and so you would think if the idea is for this to be the same colour on all sides, it's not far off being complete.
I scramble it. No.
Right. So what information would Daboff get from Vin?
So Daboff, the way you can communicate telepathically, but you can see through Vin's eyes, but I think you can only do that at the time. You can't see what he saw before. So you perhaps at this point start talking to Vin, and he tells you that he saw two, as he calls them, bipeds, two humanoid figures emerging from a bush not too far from where you were all sleeping. One of them was holding something in their hands. One was larger than the other, but beyond that, he doesn't understand humanoids and anything like that. He could tell you sizes and stuff like that. That both of them are larger than Daboff. But neither of them were like giants or anything like that.
Out of interest, from my investigation, do I see any like forms of like a scruffle, or like that someone had almost yanked Quinch out of his bed and taken him away, like a footprint around, or sign of the struggle?
Phrasing.
The disgust on Luke's face.
Yanked him clean out of his bed.
Yeah.
just as he was getting close, he was yanked off. During your investigation, it wasn't what you were purposefully looking for, but you think that you see maybe one or two dots of maybe blood on his bedroll.
Wow.
Is anyone around here any good at tracking? There seems to be some blood.
It would be...
all right at survival.
Okay.
I can try follow some tracks.
Okay, can you roll me a survival then, please, Krill?
15 overall.
15 overall. Okay, so Greg obviously shows you the what he's found. He shows you all the bits and bobs and shows you the blood on the bedroll. You start looking around, not just there, but just in general around the campsite to try and see if you can piece together what might have happened. Because, as I say, I mean, this is a missing member of your party, which is, has never happened before, and equally, it's unexplained, and it's just odd that he wouldn't take anything with him. You look around, and eventually, not too far from there, you actually find what appear to be some drag marks. What we're going to do is we're going to leave you there. It's a couple of hours ago. Quinch, you wake up and instantly notice something is over your head. You're into some kinky shit, but even you don't remember putting the pillowcase over your head before sleeping. You feel a grip on your wrist and pressure on your back. You lift your head, but instantly feel the cold sharpness of a blade at your throat. Quiet now, Omen Bringer. A female voice suggests.
It's the lady
We wouldn't
from the
want to
pub.
wake your friends. Rest assured, I have a blade at their throat, and the slightest noise from you will see them expire. Nod if you understand.
Quinch slowly nods so as not to pierce his throat with the blade.
I said be quiet. That is your last warning. But that is a good boy for nodding. We just want to take you for a little walk. If you promise to do this nicely, the rest of your party will remain unharmed. Nod if you agree.
Quinch nods again.
There's a good chap. As insurance, I'm just going to chain you up, though.
Oh.
I don't want those new wings of yours making things awkward for us. Nod if you agree.
Somewhat hesitantly, he nods, pondering on the noisiness of chains, but...
She senses your sarcasm. She senses your sarcastic nod. These are magic chains. They do not make it... No. Excellent. Quinch, you feel the woman take the blade away from your throat momentarily before applying manacles to your wrists and ankles. Well done. T, a hand, please. Large footsteps come stomping up to you, and you raise your head instinctively, even though you know you can't see anything through the hood. A boot smashes you in the face, and you're unconscious again. Back to the party. You've found these drag marks, which head off to those that played with me recently know that I struggle with directions. This is the east, and I can assure you this is the east. These drag marks are heading easterly away from the bedrolls. So what do you want? So what do you want to actually do? You found these. You've obviously got all of your campsite here. Harshnag is with you, and he's sort of kept out of your way, not wanting to move and disrupt anything. What's the actual plan now that you found these drag marks? Aside from going and finding him, you taking the horses? Are you going stealthily? Try to ignore anything that you've heard from the Quinch section there. What would your characters be doing in this situation?
If it's just drag marks and it looks like they're on foot, I can't see any reason that we would take horses, because I feel like it wouldn't be far away wherever they're going, because obviously they haven't taken horses themselves.
Not that you know of, anyway.
Yeah, well, not that we can see from the tracks and the blood, and the drag marks and...
Realistically, you'd probably follow it to a degree, and then if you get, say, a couple hundred yards away and it's still drag marks, then you'd be like, let's double back and then maybe horse up.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, he could have just found Kent again, and they could have gone for like a little adventure.
He could be behind a different tree, but yeah. So I mean, I'm in agreement that we probably would just walk it for a bit.
Yeah.
Are we all going?
Well, we can leave Hashtag there with our stuff. I mean, he's a big chap.
I have only known you for a couple of days. If it seems important, if you wish to go on your own, I'm happy to stay with the camp and stay with the horses.
Is it worth maybe sending Vin up as high as Vin can go and just getting a good idea of direction? Might be able to see something from a higher vantage point.
It's a recon.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to see Quinch, but I think we might be able to get a bit of extra info.
Yes, if we can see which direction the drag marks are, then we might be able to see what's in that direction.
Okay, you can. I double check this. You can communicate with Vin up to 100 feet. So realistically, you can let him go 100 feet and come back, or say what he's doing there, or you can have him as a scout that's constantly sort of ahead of you. I don't know how you want to play that. It's how do you want to actually use him as a tool?
To start with, I'll just send him sort of about 100 feet directly up and see what's in the direction of the drag marks, see if there's any like landmarks they could be heading towards.
Okay, so you do so. You send Vin basically straight up like a rocket. He gets up there and he has a look around, and this is pretty much the direction, not too far off the direction you've actually already just come from traveling anyway. So you don't see anything that's hugely surprising. There's obviously plenty of nature, there's plenty of trees, a few hills here and there, few ruins, but nothing too exciting. I mean, he can't see so far that you certainly can't see Quinch, or indeed anyone with Quinch or anything like that. And from that distance, he probably can't make out the drag marks themselves. Obviously, you can see the ones that are distinct there, but you can't necessarily see them way off into the distance. But you can't see anything that's obvious in the close vicinity that you would be heading towards. So it would likely to be something that you would need to investigate further going forward.
In terms of ground tracking, is it just continued drag marks?
Well, at the moment you're still at camp, so you haven't necessarily just set off yet.
Yeah, I thought we'd left set out kind of.
Right. Well,
you hadn't because you were talking about whether to take the stuff and all that sort of stuff.
Right. Are we? We're going to leave.
Harshnag.
We're going to leave Harshnag with the stuff. I think we should get some of Quinch's gear together, though. Get Hayshit at least, and his bow and arrow. Because
his armor and
Storm
stuff.
Duster. Is his Storm Duster here?
Everything's there.
Right. So maybe I think carrying his armor around is probably, without taking horses, is someone literally walking around with an armful of armor. But we can bundle up Hayshit, his bow and arrow, and Storm Duster and some gems.
We could always take one of the spare horses and load that up with Quinch's stuff.
Just load it up as like a pack mule.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I forget how many spare horses we actually have now, but
We have enough. We have enough that some can be.
You have 2 spares. You've got 1 each plus 2 spares. One for Vin, who no longer needs it because he flies, and one that you rode from
Imagine
Everland.
rolling into town with a horse that just has an owl perched on it.
And a goat
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could load
that
Sebastian
just has no
up.
one person.
Yeah, that's true.
But load one of the spare horses up with as much of Quinch's stuff.
I thought you meant a goat on a horse.
So to be
Is that what you
clear,
meant?
Yeah.
what are you specifically taking with you?
His armor, Hayshit.
Okay, hang on.
Basically, any weapons or armor, anything combat.
His
really.
armor, Hayshit, sure shot, some arrow,
Sure shit, yeah.
Load of arrows.
some arrows, and Storm Duster and gems.
And I'm assuming he's got like a general side bag that would have coin and.
We don't need his money, do we? We're definitely coming back here because this is the story. This is where the story is with Harshnag.
But we don't know. But avoiding metagaming, we don't know why he's been taken or if there's anything he's going to need. We was at one point we was questioning his cube of many colours, and we still haven't ruled out.
No, because it would have been. I think. As much as Mike said that as a joke, I thought, maybe, possibly, has he been?
So we haven't ruled out. We haven't ruled out anything.
But it's not the cube of many. I think the cube of many colours maybe would have been complete.
Yeah, and the drag marks would have not been there.
Yeah.
Cube of many colours. Yeah, listen, I'm trying to. Yeah. Let's
trying so hard to not metagame that you're forgetting things that we actually know. Yeah,
That's fine. So just to clarify, you're taking armor, Hayshit, sure shit, some arrows, Storm Duster, and gems.
Do you think that's what do you think, Nathan?
I don't know. You take what you want, mate.
What's in his
MJ,
inventory?
do you think there's anything else we should bring?
What's MJ? You've got you.
Is there anything that would be useful in combat?
Somewhat.
Just in case?
I'm somewhat surprised you didn't pick up my copy of The Love of Dogs, but I suppose.
Can we also
limited
take the
hands.
potato? Also take the potato.
I think we should take the bum-shaped potato, just in case he's been brainwashed and we have to bring him back.
I'm going to take his oil tooth bomb that he made 40,000 episodes ago.
And the pillowcase.
I mean, realistically, we look through his inventory. And
Is this just a clip show?
I'm going to get the singing statue of Miliki.
Actually,
it's not Miliki, is it? It's whatever, because Dweezil knows that's what's singing to Quinch, and after
It's like an episode of This Is Your Life.
again, it's impossible to not like. Stuart's thinking. See, I'm wondering whether that's metagaming now, because
Well, no, if you've heard it sing and he's been mysteriously lured away, I think making that
Yeah,
bridging that gap, that might have been what led him away, and it might be useful. It's realistic.
Yeah.
Can I ask, when I was searching this stuff earlier, and you said all this stuff seems to be in his pack still, does that include the pillowcase?
Yes, it did include the pillowcase.
I mean,
That's
it's a bit
not what they
meta.
put over his head.
Yeah, that's kind of...
That is meta, because obviously I did reference the pillowcase, but that was more referencing the fact that Quinch is into kinky shit and probably the sort of person that might put a pillowcase or something over his head to asphyxiate himself while he's masturbating. So
I imagine that's why he took the pillowcase, to be fair.
No.
Yeah.
There's a belt just strewn.
One other thing, actually, I forgot to say when you was investigating that you didn't pay much notice to, but now you've had time to think about it and you're rooting around and stuff. One of the other things you found, which seemed a little bit out of place, was you found a scroll. And when you opened up the scroll, there was no writing on it. It was completely blank.
Ooh.
Had any of us seen that before?
It's invisible ink.
Has anyone got a black light they can...
Oh, God, no, not around Quinch. I don't believe we have seen that. It might be worth Greg having a look at it. Maybe casting your languagey spell. Maybe...
I think I have to see it to be able to read the languagey spell one, unfortunately. So if it's invisible, then it would be no good.
Have you not got detect magic or identify or anything?
I don't believe I do, no.
No.
Greg, do me an Arcana check.
It's 15 plus...
That's enough.
plus 5, 20.
This is, as I said, it's a perfectly plain scroll. There's nothing on it at all. But you would say that you've seen a fair few of these in your time. You'd be surprised if this wasn't a spell scroll that's been used up.
Yeah, I was going to say a spent spell scroll disappears.
You can't get any. Right. There's no magic resonance coming off it, and there's no writing on it.
Spell scrolls Quinch had?
He didn't. This is something that the people that have taken him have left. They've used the spell scroll while they were here, and then have abandoned the empty scroll.
I think we should probably take it with us just in case if it's something we see as unusual.
Could be blinded.
Is it not just like an empty bit of paper now, though? It's nothing on it.
It is, but there's no harm in taking it. In terms of even if it's just as a prop,
Always need a bit of paper.
Okay, fair. We'll take the bit of paper with this one as well. I'll roll it back up and stick it up my sleeve.
Okay. So anything. So then you're taking armor, hayshit, short shit, some arrows, gems, storm duster, the singing statue, and the scroll.
And the potato.
And a potato. Are we not taking the armor? If we're taking a horse, are we not taking his armor?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I did say the armor.
Okay,
when you're about to leave the house and you're just convinced you've forgotten something.
Yeah, when you're like packing for a holiday and you pack like twice as many pairs of pants as you actually need, just in case you shit yourself every single day. Yeah.
You didn't find Quinch's passport in there, so maybe he's just gone.
Has he got his travel insurance documents?
Okay, right. Anything else?
Fucking hell, I'm going to be dead by now.
I know we said we're only taking the essentials. Is there anything else left to take?
Loads of stuff. He's got loads of stuff. He's got fucking vials of perfume. He's got the pillowcase. We're
going to find him and he's going to be like, oh, you forgot my rubbing incense.
He does like his rubbing incense, to be fair.
Might be worth bringing him back, actually, trying to lure him out with a smell. Maybe bring that too.
Here, Quinchy. Right. I'm going to assume there's nothing else. Okay, Sam, then, can you roll me, or Krill, I should say, can you roll me a survival check to get you... I mean, I'm assuming that you're now going to head off on foot with one horse, is that right?
Yeah.
Harshnag's agreed. Harshnag will look after the camp and the remaining horses. Mm-hmm. The rest of you are going to set off on foot with one horse. Vin, what's Vin going to do? Is Vin just going to go up ahead?
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see which direction Krill says to go, if he's tracking, and then send Vin, 75 feet ahead and 25 feet up, whatever the triangulation ends up being.
Are the tracks going away from River Moon, then?
River Moon. No, so if you imagine... they're sort of going back that way, but off to a slight angle.
Okay.
So
they haven't gone into the town.
If you travelled along, let's say this is River Moot, and you came along, and this is where you are now, they're sort of going like that a little bit. They're just sort of going a slight, early doors. It's going to look like you're going pretty much the same direction, but there is a slight variation that you can see that it would.
Okay.
After some time, you'd be off track. Okay.
Survival?
Yeah, so can we get a survival, please?
Oh, it's a 9 overall.
A 9 overall. You set off, and whilst it's fairly easy for you to follow the tracks at first, all somewhere out of nowhere, you sort of just lose them. Vin, can I get a survival from you, though? Don't know why I'm talking to Vin as if Vin exists, but... As if Krill does. I don't know.
None of this exists, mate. You do know that, right?
Happens.
It's all made up.
Yeah. It does in here, mate. The hours and hours of prepping, this better fucking exist.
Would that count as perception, as a stat or a wisdom thing?
I'll tell you what. Yeah, go for perception in this instance.
Because he gets advantage on wisdom checks that rely on hearing or sight. So I guess that counts if it's sight.
Have you sent him off already? So you've set off on the trail, and you've sent Vin off, whatever, yeah?
Yeah, so he's 25 feet up, so he's away from people. But then as far away as the 100 feet allows, I can't be bothered to Pythagoras that.
Yeah, it doesn't mind. Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Well, I've rolled a 14 and a 15, plus 1, so 16.
Okay, so what happens is Krill loses the trail, but luckily enough, you see Vin sort of like you can see Vin off in the distance, off kilter from where you are, and it manages to bring you back on track, and you eventually find the drag marks again, and you're on your way. You follow these drag marks for a good half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, and then all of a sudden, you hear the sound of singing. Quinch, you awake again, but this time you're moving and feel the ground beneath you, scraping over your scales on your back. You feel your arms raised above your head, the manacles still binding your wrists and ankles, digging in now. You know that you're being dragged by an unknown person. It wasn't the pain or the movement that woke you, though. It was the sound of a woman singing. Even with a hood and your compromising condition, you recognise this as the tune you've heard a few times through your holy symbol. Until now, you've not been able to make out any words, but here and now, everything is clear. Daylight flees in his absence. Warmth eludes when we're apart.
Boom, boom, boom.
Daylight flees in his absence. I alone with my laments. Every time my love departs,
Boom, boom, boom.
unaware of his locale,
Mm-hmm.
or resolve to break my heart.
Boom, boom.
Daylight flees in his absence, find contentment a pretense. Every time my love departs.
Boom, boom.
Daylight flees in his absence.
Mm-hmm.
The night its darkness does impart. Daylight flees in his absence. Mind contentment a pretense. Every time my love departs. Every time my love departs. Every time my love departs. A few moments of silence pass.
Wow.
Horrendous. Imagine having to do that, being an unconfident singer with COVID.
Imagine me trying to sync it up now that we've all just clapped.
Fucking hell.
A few moments of silence pass. The only noise you hear is the wind amongst some trees and the sound of a bird call. This is interrupted by a second voice. A husky male voice says, "It breaks my heart when you sing that. He must have been a great man. I wish I'd have met him." Silence again. The ground beneath you is rough, and you think you feel a scale peel off you. But while it is painful, you've suffered worse, and the pain of this woman's singing is somehow speaking to you. In fact, the worst part of this is not knowing who you're with and where you're going. We're back with the party. You've now heard very clearly the sound of a woman singing a tragedy about a man, the love of her life, missing. Dweezil, this is something that you've heard before. You couldn't make out details before, but somehow, and for some reason, this is as clear as day to you, and it's a song you've probably heard. Both Stuart and Dweezil has probably heard that song before. By the way, kudos to the Dweezil Van Severe, This Is Bardcore YouTube channel that you can visit now to find a much more professional version of that song with full lyrics.
How can we tell where this how far away this singing is coming from that we can hear?
You can't tell. I mean, there's nothing. Give me an Arcana check.
12.
12. Yeah, I mean, bearing in mind this is a holy symbol of a god that you don't follow. Bearing in mind you've probably not come across this phenomenon before about, singing statues or things being sort of transmitted in such a way. I mean, you've come across things like sending stones and stuff like that, and you wonder whether there's something there, but there's nothing here that you could use as like a radar or like a homing signal or anything like that. But you probably get the sense of it's odd that the first time Quinch mentioned this weeks ago, you couldn't hear it. In fact, I think the first couple of times Quinch was on his own when he heard it, and then I think there was a time or two where you were around and you couldn't hear it, and then all of a sudden you did hear it once, but you couldn't make out the details of it, or so the fact that it's grown to the point that you can actually make out some details, you probably put two and two together and make some sort of assumption that maybe there's a proximity thing going on here.
So
that perhaps
I'm hearing the singing from the statue.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I thought I was hearing like her voice. Oh wow.
No.
Right.
Yeah. So that singing came from the pack. So
he got this from Bung Rippingtons, didn't he?
He did. Yeah.
So
you basically, this would have stopped you in your tracks.
Yeah.
You'd have been searching. You would have heard the singing coming from Quinch's pack, and you would have been like, "Hang on a minute, stop!" And you would have stopped and listened to this. You don't recognise the voice, but there is something maybe not familiar about the voice, but maybe something about the tone of the voice that someone's somewhat familiar. Roll me a history.
Natural 1, mate. 4.
Yeah, fuck all, mate.
No.
Right. Do you do anything with that, dude? Like any?
No, I think that Stuart and by extension Dweezil are going to surmise that this is now linked, and that perhaps the statue was put there as some kind of means of finding Quinch, of getting to Quinch, of keeping tracks on him. But then perhaps it can work the other way now, and we might be able to use it to somehow gauge our proximity to the person. I think that when she sings, the statue sort of broadcasts it. This is Stuart's thinking, and that she was maybe doing it to send him doolally, to get into his head a bit. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a tasty little morsel of intrigue, though, isn't it?
Maybe it's a bit like a sending stone, and then like you can hear the surroundings, and she can kind of locate him by what's going on around him. And if so, can we use it to track his location back?
Yeah, perhaps.
Okay. With that interlude, though, are you just back on track, or are you doing anything else?
I think we need to get. I think we're getting closer then, and we need to get on track. I think we maybe even pick up the pace a little bit if we can.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you don't miss out on the circus's next crazy antics by hitting subscribe on your podcast app of choice. And in between episodes, you can always find us on social media by searching Dice and Desire on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. We're in our 3rd year now, and if you want to help us grow, you can do so in a number of ways. You can tell a friend, because word of mouth really helps us get our name out there, or you can review us on Apple or Podchaser to help with our visibility. Finally, you can donate to our Ko-fi page to help us take the show to the next level. All links can be found in this episode's description. And never forget, sometimes it is a dog licking the tree, yes?
In a world besieged by darkness, torn apart by hatred, where the cruel, the wicked, and the heartless rule over all, Romancing the Dungeon is an epic tale of 4 legendary heroes who unite in the name of love, unity, and friendship to bring light and hope back into the world.
Are you serious? Those 4 wouldn't know what love is even if it was tattooed on their asses. You got the wrong show if you think these 4 are love experts. I'm the only love expert you need, so we're doing this my way. If you desire romance, we got it.
Ah, there's my favorite person.
Morning.
How you doing, Angel?
Great.
Come here, and I sort of get in real close, and I like lips sort of purse, but I flutter my lips and give a little like.
And if you love drama, we got that too.
I need you to find and kill Eugenia Flatstone. I need her heart.
Okay, well we haven't. I think it's been a while since we've done the heart thing. How am I supposed to get that to you? Because I don't think walking around with an old lady's heart is gonna go well for me personally.
If action is your passion, well, there's plenty of that as well.
For my bonus action, I'm going to use Blessing of the Raven Queen to go behind the other guy.
Okay.
And basically come up behind him with a dagger to his neck to get him to stop.
God damn. What the fuck happened to you in the woods?
Join Thane, Thea, Nate, and Hephaestus as they put their hearts and my reputation on the line in a race to rescue an eccentric bride from the clutches of evil, battle against the insatiable forces of darkness, and try not to die along the way, I suppose.
I start taking my clothes off.
Okay.
And I take a blanket from the bed, and I wrap it around me, and I start following the steps, and I go, I'm a greasy little peanut. I'm a greasy little peanut. I'm a greasy little peanut.
Oh, for the love of... I don't even know why I bother.
Romancing the Dungeon, a softcore D&D podcast about 4 heroes on a quest for true love and discovering what that really means for them. Available wherever good podcasts are found.
Good podcasts? Well, that's blatant false advertising.